It is time once again for another Chicago Bears post-game show right here on the Kenikkasports channel. And today we are looking back at last night's defeat to the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football in what can only be described as a heartbreaking loss that once again saw a Bears game come down to the final play. Unfortunately, we landed on the wrong side of it. However, this is not a sky is falling moment for this Bears team, and we're talking about all of it as usual. The good, the bad, and the ugly from last night's game. But first, if this is your first time here, please do us a favor. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell, everybody, for our mascot, Frexy. Check her out. She was not enjoying the game last night either. I think it was a little too tense for her for Sunday night. Maybe Sunday afternoon she can handle it a little bit more, but what do you think?
I think Sunday night she was too tired.
Well, the general consensus I've seen around the interwebs and in the NFL establishment media and social media personalities is that this was an instant classic, everybody. Bears on the losing end of a 42-38 shootout in San Francisco for Sunday Night Football.
What a game.
This was definitely a wild game in a season of wild games. Was this the best game of the season, period, in the NFL?
I think so. It might have been.
It might have been, as crazy as that is, because I think my vote personally would go to last week's game, but maybe that's just because the Bears actually won that game.
Okay.
But if you do take a step back and look at this, I guess from a just fan perspective, seeing these two teams just punch each other back and forth last night, and it's just absolutely, it was hard not to watch.
It was hard tonight. It's a boxing match, if you will.
Yeah, this is like two heavyweights going at it, so much on the line. You have the conference championship possibly being decided last night. Now, San Francisco gets to play this week for that right against the Seahawks.
Yes.
More on that before we get out of here. But yeah, the reactions to this game were abundant, and I was having trouble like calming down after the game. So I just was surfing on Twitter and saw a lot of people reacting to this one. So I decided to grab some of these tweets just to kind of go through them and read them with the audience. These were fun to react to, but the NFL is even asking on their official X page, was this the game of the year? So it's not just us saying it, everybody. Right. The NFL is saying it.
That's right.
The NFL also saying two NFC heavyweights. You know, another prevailing thought that I feel like came out of this game from as a consensus thought was that these two teams would be a great rematch in a conference championship setting.
Ooh.
Now, the thing that scares me about that is that would most likely have to be in San Francisco again. The only way that that's not in San Francisco is if the Bears win at home next week against the Lions, but also the San Francisco Niners would have to lose at home to the Seahawks.
Go ahead.
And then somehow the Seahawks would have to lose before the conference championship, and then it would be in Chicago if they were the number 2 seed and still alive.
Okay. So
Then
there's
they
still a
could
lot.
possibly host the 49ers in that kind of a game. But we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. And there's a lot of movement that can still happen here, including the Bears moving from the current 2 seed into the 3 seed, were they to lose to the Lions in this upcoming Sunday matchup. But we got to get there first. Let's get through all of this. Let's go through some more of these reactions, Nika.
Okay.
Fox Sports NFL says the 49ers win an instant classic. Hard to disagree with that. Bet MGM here. Listen to this. Bears versus 49ers, number 1 seed in the NFC on the line. 80 total points scored. 936 total yards of offense. 11 touchdowns, including 10 straight to start the game.
What a game.
The score was tied 5 different times in this game. And they call it a Ben Johnson and Kyle Shanahan masterclass. while they show Brock Purdy and Caleb Williams embracing the traditional post-game hug between quarterbacks, if you will. And they end it by saying it was the game of the year. So there's another vote.
Okay.
Yep, you're going to see that a lot. Bleacher Report. Everyone is saying it. Another absolute classic on Sunday Night Football. 49ers hold on for the win. So everybody's saying it, even Bleacher Report.
Okay.
Pat McAfee, what a game.
No, he didn't go with the classic. Whatever.
He says, what a game in all caps. Congrats
gotcha.
to the Niners. Colin Cowherd, he goes with the sarcastic response. Decent game. But I think everyone took that to mean that was Colin's way of saying, I was entertained.
Sure.
Oh, Skip Bayless. We went way back to the old establishment, Chicago media, Chicago Tribune's old Skip Bayless. I realized the Bears lost, ... but I gained even more respect for them tonight. If you know Skip Bayless at all, you'll know that whenever he puts something out into the universe, he always has to reinforce it with another point. And so he tweets almost immediately after this, 3 minutes to be exact. Caleb Williams nearly won that without Odunze, DJ, or Zacchaeus. DJ Moore was on the field, I think, on that final play. So I think Skip might need to go see the eye doctor. But Rome Odunze, of course, has been out with that stress fracture in his foot. Good news on that, though, as we head down the stretch. Polymarket football, what a battle. These two will be seeing each other again soon, and they're talking about Caleb Williams and Brock Purdy. I think everybody in the NFL would watch this game again tomorrow if it was on the schedule, Nika.
Oh, yeah. Us included. It was an entertaining game.
Chase Daniel.
A quarterback.
Famous YouTube analyst / former NFL quarterback. What a freaking game. Felt like a playoff game. I agree. Bears and 49ers are dang good teams. I also agree. Dov Kleiman, the famous Twitter stirrer of the pot, if you will, in the NFL world. We just witnessed the best game of the season. 49ers win in a stunner, 42-38. I don't know if I'd call this a stunner, Nika. I would say it was a thrilling ending, though. That's for sure.
Okay. It was.
Just another year, Chicago. What a game. That's, of course, Nick. And I always want to call him Jay because of the acronym, just another year. But it is Nick. The Wiener Circle. Oh. That was the best Bears loss ever. Don't even feel bad about it. I'm going to feel a little bit bad about it. And then they go on to say we're locked in to play the Packers in round 1. I don't believe that is necessarily true. But we'll talk about all that before we get out of here. Dave from Bears Film Room says, I'm exhausted. And he posted all the lead changes, I think, up until the end when it stayed 42-38 from 1 minute and 8 seconds left to the final.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, the Bears would not score again in this game. So, too bad. Herb Lawrence says, can't ask for more than that. Actually, I can. I can ask for a win.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Brilliant stuff from Caleb. Yeah, Caleb continues to arrive in the NFL world, I guess, since his Packers' miraculous comeback last week. Hit a couple more nice, deep passes in this game, everybody. Mark Potash, a.k.a. Fred Flintstone there with the avatar, says the rare statement loss from the Bears. Yeah, I guess the Bears made a statement last night that they can hang at least with the 49ers. The Bears are here to stay and won't be an easy out in the playoffs, and it gives them the revenge factor in a rematch.
Okay.
He went back to my era, shades of 1988, when the Bears won 10-9 on Monday Night Football, but the 49ers dominated the rematch in the NFC title game and won the Super Bowl. Oh. Wouldn't that be a nice little story to play out if the Bears were able to repeat that history in reverse? Well,
we're going with the 80s theme so far, so maybe.
Yes, and it feels like the 80s sometimes again. Zach Zaidman, the ginger-haired genius, everybody. As heartbreaking as that finish was, how many times in your life can you remember the Bears playing in a shootout? I can't. Not like this. Caleb Williams is like a big-time home run hitter in baseball. Any moment can be the moment. And I would say his slug is improving, Zach. Let's not anoint him as like the champion or the king of the NFL yet. Because I feel like Jordan Love, in that game that was at Lambeau Field against us, he really gashed and gutted us just like kind of Brock Purdy did last night in this game. He didn't get quite so many big plays, but he did get more plays, I would say, than Jordan Love did in that first game at Lambeau against us. But Jordan Love, when he swings for the fences and hits, he hits home runs, man. You can't deny it. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, I get the analogy. We talked about it already before. I don't think Caleb Williams is quite the big-time home run hitter that Zach Zaidman paints him out to be here just yet, but I do think he is improving on his deep ball. Patrick Manley, the former long snapper for your Chicago Bears, he was on with the ginger-haired genius on the Bears postgame show on The Score last night. Tip of the cap to Zach for staying up late and hosting on a Sunday night. But he brought up what I was concerned about, Nika, that the Bears just don't have a pass rush right now. And it's painfully obvious to those of us that watch all the minutes of the game that they're just not getting any pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. It's become a theme throughout the season. And
it's a big hole that they need to fill
when
up.
you are unable to do that, it just makes it so much harder on the rest of the defense. And as much as I want to give them crap, and I will before we get out of here, it's hard to do anything in the linebacking and then the secondary when you're not getting any pressure up front.
Well, you can make the same argument for the 49ers.
Oh yeah, you can. But this was a shootout and they won it. So it's their day.
Yep.
But it's concerning if you're a Bears fan too, because I think you look at this and you know history and you say, can this Bears team really go deep into the playoffs without a pass rush? And I say, maybe. Maybe. We'll talk about it. It's disappointing to lose and not have the number one seed, but it doesn't mean you can't win the Super Bowl. That's what he went on to say. And the reason I think he's saying that is because it just feels like, despite the fact that our team is flawed, a lot of great teams this year are flawed and have flaws. And if you just happen to hit on all cylinders that one game, you can beat any team.
Sure.
So
I'll give you that.
It is possible, especially when you have a quarterback like Caleb is turning out to be. David Ha, we're going to end here, says, this looked like an NFC Championship preview, two teams with every reason to think Super Bowl. So we hear the magic words again on The Score, Super Bowl.
Is that wishful thinking?
I think it's a little bit wishful thinking.
Yeah, too early.
But I understand the thought and the sentiment, and so I think you got to go for it. David Ha, by the way, published this at 12:37 a.m. and was on the radio at 5 a.m. this morning. So kudos to him for probably, 3-4 hours of sleep, maybe?
Adrenaline was bumping.
It was tough to go to sleep last night, everybody. But I guess the reason why you can think Super Bowl, Nika, is because of Caleb and just the fact that he continues to get better. And I think even with one game left in this regular season and hopefully a couple of playoff games at least, he's going to get better even before this season is over. I don't doubt it. Let's take a look at this tweet from our guy Nick at Just Another Year Chicago. He says Caleb Williams had his first 300-yard passing performance in 2025 last night, 330 yards for 2 touchdowns. And with that, he's at 3,730 passing yards, which means he's only 109 yards away from the single-season Bears record of, I guess that would be 3,839 yards, and he is only 270 yards away from 4,000. Well, I think after looking at a lot of these reactions, I think the one thing that stands out to me the most is just that it will never not be odd for me to see a Bears quarterback nationally liked. Okay. I feel like Caleb Williams is the first quarterback the Bears have had in my lifetime that, Tom Brady seems to like and just is getting praised for making offensive plays on the field and amazing throws and, highest rated throws of the year and taking part in shootouts against the San Francisco 49ers. It's like, yeah, they always had Joe Montana and Steve Young growing up, but we would run the ball against them and beat them with defense, not get into a shootout with them like we did last night. And yet, so it was a little bit refreshing to see. I understand why Bears fans are still somewhat excited despite the fact that we lost last night, is because we still saw a different type of brand of football from this Bears team that I think we're still just not used to seeing. And it might take a while for it to still settle in. It might take a couple more seasons.
It might.
We have so much PTSD from being like a run first, defense first team for so many years and just not modernizing.
Mm-hmm. And here we are at 180.
When we do see it with our own eyes, it still is like, are we seeing this? Are we really seeing this? Even like watching Caleb come back and lead us down the field and again fall up short, just like kind of similar to how we did in Green Bay. He didn't throw an interception, but we didn't get the job done at the end of the day. And it was still exciting. Mm-hmm. It was still thrilling to be able to even be in that position.
Oh, definitely. And yesterday's game shows it, that Caleb is ready for this kind of a stage.
Well, he's also on the verge of some Bears history, everybody.
Oh, nice.
And that's kind of exciting. Because this game turned into a shootout, he wound up getting 330 yards passing last night. And he had 3,400 going into the game, which means that he has 3,730 passing yards now on the season and is just 270 away from this magic 4,000 number. Of course, the Bears are the only NFL franchise to have never had a 4,000-yard passer. He's just 109 yards away from the Bears single-season franchise record set by Eric Kramer, probably in 1995. That was the year the Bears went to the playoffs when he was quarterbacking under Dave Wanstead.
Again, 80s theme comes back.
95, but
oh,
yeah.
95, sorry. I thought you said 85. Never mind.
Yeah, it was a little grim after Wanstead left for a minute under Dick Duran. But
Okay.
no, we're not going to relive all that history right now. So, yeah, Nick, at just another year, Chicago thinks that Caleb Williams can get both of these milestones done next week against the Lions. And I just want to push back a little bit and be like, let's not make this the focus of this week, please. The Bears have a lot to gain, in my opinion, by still going out and winning the number 2 seed. They need to get a moral win over the Lions, who beat their ass 52-21 in week 2. And if you don't think the Lions, that have nothing left to play for this year, aren't going to come in here and want to beat Ben Johnson again and embarrass him again, you are sorely mistaken, my friends. Let's just not make this final game about Caleb Williams and the 4,000 yards. That's all I'm saying. Like, if it happens, great. But let's get a W to go along with it so we can actually celebrate that milestone.
Thank you.
Look, he's going to pass Eric Kramer, no doubt about it. Okay? And he is the franchise quarterback. He's a top 10 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and fewest interceptions now in the NFL. This is what Dave from Bears Film Room was tweeting out this morning, and he's kind of raising the point and I guess asking the question, is Caleb Williams a top 10 quarterback now in the NFL officially? Has he broken through that threshold? And I think he has. I think when the dust settles on this season, you can't look at these numbers now. 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 3,730 yards. That's 8th in the NFL. The touchdowns are tied for 7th, tied for 9th in fewest interceptions. The only thing that's lacking now is getting that completion percentage up. But that will come with time and experience. I firmly believe that with somebody that's as dedicated as he seems to be towards getting better. Before we move on to the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we do here, let's talk about a couple of amazing facts from this game, Nika.
Okay.
This was the first time in an NFL game ever that the score was tied at 7, at 14, at 21, 28, and 35. Yes, that's right. This game was 35-35 with 14 minutes and 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter after DeAndre Swift opened the fourth quarter with a touchdown run. Unfortunately, that was the last touchdown the Bears scored in this game. It was not the last touchdown the Niners would score, of course, as they would go on to win 42-38. But what a punching match. That really illustrates it right there. And the fact that it's never happened like that before.
That's crazy.
10 straight touchdowns to open the game.
It just shows how much the
5 from each team.
And the game has changed so much. That's what this tells me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's because the aerial attack just keeps becoming more and more prevalent. And fourth down.
Yeah.
Both teams were a combined 3 for 3 on fourth down in this game.
That's damn good.
Well, yeah, it keeps everything moving, including a big fourth down right before one of the final plays of the game for the Bears. One more interesting thing to note in this game, the Bears are the first team in NFL history to score 35 points in a game, score a defensive touchdown, have 0 turnovers and allow 0 sacks, and yet lose in that game. Leave it to the Bears, everybody, I guess, to lose the best game ever. I mean, or lose in the best way ever. Is it the best loss in NFL history?
Yes.
Well, congratulations, I guess, to that milestone, everybody. Hopefully it's not the best thing we achieve all season, right?
Right.
Well, we did win the North despite losing this week. The Bears are guaranteed to be one of the top 4 seeds in the playoffs and play a home game in week 1. But they will not be the number 1 seed, so they will play a wild card playoff game in week 1 of the playoffs. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, everybody, from this San Francisco loss. Nika, I want to start the good off with talking about the Bears team in general and just the overall feeling I have this morning that the Bears can contend with any team on any given Sunday. Unfortunately, we just wound up on the wrong end of a shootout, but as I said, we did have a chance, and you can't ask for really anything more than that when you're in a shootout.
They were trading punches. They hanged with the best.
The 49ers are the best right now. In fact, I wrote these down for the end of the segment, but it's worth bringing up now. The Bears forced the 49ers to punt, everybody. This was the first time in the month of December that the 49ers punted. And not only once, but twice in this game. Wow. So kudos to the Bears, I guess, for just getting that achievement done, because that's how red hot the 49ers offense has been coming into this game, everybody. No punts. They did have a bye week in December. So it wasn't like they played every single Sunday this month, but still, come on. No punts in a game is impressive.
Yes.
Let alone multiple in a row. I'm just still amazed by that. Also, we got a pick 6 on the first play of the game from the Niners. Like they spotted us 7 points basically in there.
They did. I thought the game was going to start really well for the Bears, and it did.
That's what's interesting is that turned out to be the only turnover by either team in this entire game. Is it happened on the first play from scrimmage? That's funny. You almost think if it wouldn't have happened, then there would have been no turnovers in the game.
That's true.
But it's a really clean game of football by both teams. The Bears can hang, everybody, and one of the reasons why they can hang is because they had a great draft this past year. And we've been talking about it a little bit here week in, week out, but it's worth repeating in this game. The Bears had a total of 440 yards of offense in this game against the 49ers. Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Kyle Monungai, and Jade Walker, everybody, had 309 of those yards receiving and rushing.
Wow.
That's impressive. What a night for the Bears 2025 rookie class. So good job on that draft, Ryan Poles. I know he's taken a lot of crap from Bears fans about his draft picks. The first draft with Ben Johnson, they got it right, and no one can deny that. Now, without looking too much further ahead, they might have to replicate the same thing in the next draft with their defense. We'll talk about that. One other area of good to discuss before we move on is Luther Burden. As the game ended and went off the air, we saw Luther Burden being attended to by medical personnel from the Bears. It was then tweeted out that he was carted off the field, everybody. That is scary to think about. Well, Adam Schefter tweeted an update this morning, 6:20 a.m. in the desert. Bears wide receiver Luther Burden, who was carted off the field after Sunday night's game, suffered a quad injury that is not thought to be serious.
Oh, that's good.
He will undergo additional testing today. Okay. Yeah, this should give us all a sigh of relief. Luther Burden had an amazing game last night, everybody. Look at these numbers. Luther Burden had 8 receptions for 138 yards. And a touchdown, a 35-yard touchdown, average of 17.2 yards a catch. I mean, that is some serious work in the NFL. This kid is special.
He arrived.
He was the second wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. And the Packers, by the way, took the number 1 wide receiver, Matthew Golden. Okay. And he has been somewhat of a disappointment. And Luther Burden had a bit of a, I don't know, he was looked at as a bit of a maybe he might have some attitude, but I think Ben Johnson has channeled that into some positive attitude energy.
He seems to have a knack for those things.
And he gives the Bears a little bit of an edge and makes offensive coordinators think twice about where they put defensive personnel. And that's great. That's a great weapon to have.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, it sounds like he avoided a serious injury here and is not going to be out for the playoffs. My suspicion is that he suffered a deep quad bruise potentially, and he might be walking gingerly. He might even sit out against the Lions. I wouldn't hate it as long as it meant that he was back for the playoff game and stuff. But nevertheless, get healthy and, drink some bone broth, eat some meat.
There you go. Great advice. So we had the good. What was so bad?
Yeah, let's get into some of the bad, everybody. The Bears' early offense and late offense had a little bit of bad in it. Early offense, though, I want to focus on this mostly because the Bears' offense started this game with 2 3-and-outs, everybody. That means they ran 6 plays total in their first 2 possessions of the game and punted both times. Had they not gotten that pick 6 to start the game, they would have been in a 14-0 hole in San Francisco. The only thing that kept them out of that was that pick 6. It was 14-7, and they finally tied the game at 14, as we showed earlier, because of all the punching back and forth. So it was good that they struck when they did to keep the game close, but you cannot start the game like this. 2 3-and-outs on the road. What's even more ironic about this is the very first play of the game was an 8-yard completion to Colston Loveland, which is something we talked about before this game, was getting the tight ends involved early. Right away, they go to Colston Loveland, first pass of the game. And then the second play of the game, the pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and then Caleb throws an incomplete on 3rd down, and the next thing you know, you're punting. It's amazing. It's amazing how 2 plays can derail a drive, everybody, especially an opening drive in a big game like this.
That should be concerning.
It's concerning, and it's like, wow, it happens. But then they go out the next drive, and they try to get the running game going then, and I hated that we passed all 3 plays on the opening drive, and especially the second play. After the first play, you get this 8 yards. You got to run. You got to do both, and keep the defense honest. And instead, they get a tipped pass at the line of scrimmage, and we're punting in a shootout. I want to fast forward to the end of the game where there was a little bit of chaos on the field, especially down the stretch. You can imagine when there's 2 minutes and 15 seconds left and you're starting on your opposite 15-yard line and have 85 yards to go to score, that it's going to be a bit of a tense situation. And yet, if anybody in the NFL has shown that they are made for situations like this, it's Caleb Williams. However, it was not to be in this game. And one of the reasons was because the last play went off with 4 seconds left on the clock after Caleb Williams spiked the ball at the 3-yard line. And there was nothing wrong with anything that anybody did up until this point, but Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams both told the media after the game that maybe not the best clock management here. There was some communication problems with Ben Johnson saying, I didn't get the play in fast enough. And then Caleb Williams telling the media that there was some players lined up in the wrong spot and probably running the wrong routes. Who knows? And if you watch the play, obviously Caleb got squeezed, and then he got squeezed some more and wound up making that desperation heave that was short. But he never really got a clean throw off. And I'm wondering how much of this played into that, with not expecting people to be in certain places and just the overall chaos of the moment.
They were scrambling at the end, basically.
I just wanted to say, I don't think this is a huge deal in the long run. Obviously it's never good when it happens in the moment, of course, but the Bears haven't had a lot of moments like this to practice with. And the only time you're really going to get to practice it is when it happens for real.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think it's a good learning moment for both Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. And I think if they're both in this situation again, we may see a different result, everybody. So, and knowing the Cardiac Bears, they're going to be in this situation again, right, Nika?
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to shed that label this year, I don't think. Maybe next year. But this year, the Bears own the Cardiac label, everybody. All right, well, there was some ugliness to this game, and we're going to talk about it. The Bears defense looks like Swiss cheese out there right now, everybody.
That's putting it mildly.
I know, but I don't know how else to put it. And
there's a huge gaping hole in there.
yeah, they give up 496 yards of total offense to the 49ers in this game.
Ouch.
296 of them through the air, 200 yards on the ground. You know, we've talked about how great the Bears have been on the rushing end of things, and especially when they get over 150 yards a game. And here you have the Niners going 200 on us. Ouch.
That is a blow.
Not only that, the Bears have given up now 880 yards of total offense in the last two games to the Packers and the 49ers. Ouch.
Yes.
That's a lot. That's almost 500 and 400 yards a game, respectively. That is not what a Super Bowl defense looks like, in my opinion.
You're right.
And this is week 17, so this isn't like the beginning of the year and there's time for a lot of adjustments here.
There isn't.
There is not a lot left to look at here in terms of how do we fix this going forward this year. Yesterday, we get one sack the entire game and one turnover. And I want to start by saying that the Bears defense this year seems to be predicated on being a high risk, high reward defense. And this is what happens sometimes when you are putting yourself in that position, because the Bears got that turnover to start the game and then they didn't get any more. And you just had the sense, I was thinking this, watching the third and fourth quarter, I was like, the Bears really need to get another turnover if they want to win this game. And it turns out, I think I was right. The fact that they didn't get that final turnover one time in the second half, one fumble strip, one anything, just it cost them the game in a sense. And it's the high risk, high reward I'm talking about. It's here, you didn't get the reward.
Who is the Bears pass rusher?
They have Austin Booker and they have Montez Sweat. And yesterday, Booker seemed to be doing pretty well early on in the game. He had two tipped passes early on from Brock Purdy, actually. And he got, I think, the lone sack on him. Let me see if I got the defensive stats here close by. Yeah. The sack got from Austin Booker. So,
Okay,
yeah,
so
he
stepped
had a
up.
big game yesterday. Montez Sweat.
Not so much.
He had 4 tackles and an assist, but nothing else on the stat sheet. So I don't know if we had any pressures. It doesn't show that on just the basic box score. So take a look at that throughout the week. But yeah, not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I think the Bears' turnovers and getting pressure on the quarterback are kind of connected in a way. Because when you are able to put pressure on the quarterback, you're able to induce more bad throws, if you will.
Yes.
And we even saw how the Niners were able to do that to Caleb Williams. He's gotten better at throwing the ball away and not trying to force it into places where it shouldn't be forced. So kudos to Caleb for that. But we did see the Niners bring some pressure, especially in the second half and on the last play of the game, and interrupt Caleb Williams a little bit. And I wish we would have done that more to Brock Purdy. You know, I wrote this down. Where is the blitz? Where is the pressure? You know, and it just because it seems like we weren't getting it. And yet we didn't change. We didn't alter the game plan as the game plan wasn't working. We stuck to our ways.
And
I don't like this.
And hoping for a better result.
I don't like this. I'm racking my brain last night and even this morning trying to think of like why. Why are the Bears not bringing more exotic blitzes? Why are they not disguising what they're doing? Why are they not trying to confuse Brock Purdy more? Like, I get it that he's good. I get it that if he recognizes the blitz, he might be able to start picking us apart that way. But you got to at least try instead of letting him sit back there pretty much most of the game with tons of time. And if he has that much time, he's going to find an opening to pick you apart with.
And he did.
And he did. 24 of 33 to finish the game. I mean, he only missed 9 passes the whole game, and 2 of them were tipped by Austin Booker at the line of scrimmage. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen don't want to give it away before the playoffs too much. They don't want to show the other teams too much on tape And that maybe when the playoffs comes, there's going to be another lever here. Maybe we can hold on to that hope.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily count on it, but it is a strategic thing that crossed my mind. Like maybe they're just not wanting to show too much on tape right now and just live and die with what they have shown the rest of the NFL this year.
Well, they secured their playoff spot already. They just don't know whether it's 2 or 3.
And they were still in a position to win this game. You can
True.
make that argument.
You could.
They weren't like out of it.
Right.
Just to put a bow on this section, that the big Green Bay win sort of overshadowed some of these defensive deficiencies here. And, I do want to go back to Pat Manley's comments from earlier. His initial reaction to the game was my initial reaction to the game was like, boy, the Bears are a fun team, and it's great to see them be involved in a shootout and score points and have a quarterback, and I love it all. I do. But there's no pass rush.
Yep.
And without a pass rush, are we really a serious contender or not? Maybe. I'm still stuck on maybe because you have the X factor with Caleb, which, any day that he was on for a lot of this game. And a lot of those incompletions came down the stretch when they brought the blitz and he just had to throw the ball away or whatever.
Sure. But Green Bay learned how to stop Caleb.
Green Bay and San Francisco, I think a little bit early, were really successful at playing keep away from Caleb. Mm-hmm. It seems to be this sort of strategy in reverse is being applied to the Bears. The Bears were so good at winning the time of possession battle. And then last week against Green Bay, they lost. This week against San Francisco, they lost. And the other teams have gotten the message.
Yep.
Keep the ball away from Caleb.
They learned.
Keep the ball away from. Don't let the Bears start to take control of the clock with their running game. So
they all got the memos.
Anyways, I think everyone should keep their expectations in check as we head into the playoffs, everybody, because without a pass rush, I don't know how serious of a threat the Bears can be, and they haven't shown it all year. So
that's their Achilles heel this season.
Believe who teams show you they really are.
Okay.
That's what you should do.
Well,
word tongue-tied over here today. Hey, I got some final thoughts before we get out of here.
Okay.
This was a great football game, everybody. You have to take some of these on the chin sometimes. I don't think Joe Montana went undefeated for his entire career. I don't think Tom Brady went undefeated for his entire career.
we know he didn't.
We know they did not. So there are going to be more losses like this in Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams' future. And this is just one of those games where we were unfortunately on the other side of it. All is not lost. If we can take away any silver linings from this game, it's that the Bears can come back in games like this. They can have a chance to win games like this. And they can be in pretty much every game against any team right now, I think, in the NFL. I really believe that. Will it always work out? No. But they could be in a chance to win, and that's really what you want, right?
Absolutely.
You want to be in a position to have a chance to win the game. I think that still means they do have a chance to go all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, you cannot stop believing now.
You can't.
You
Absolutely
shouldn't.
not. I can be realistic. I can check my expectations with the pass rush, but I can also dream a little with number 18 and be like, just maybe he makes that throw in a different world, in a different alternate universe.
Sure.
So anyways,
But
it could happen.
Before the Super Bowl, we got the Lions to think of.
We do, and we should focus on 1 week at a time. And like Ben Johnson says, let's go 1-0 this week, and we'll worry about the playoffs and who we play and all that next week.
Yep.
Let's not get too bent out of shape if the Bears make it to the Super Bowl or not this year. I think that's the big message that I want to impart on people as we head into this home stretch and start to think about the playoffs more and more day by day. Don't get too bent out of shape if it doesn't go our way, is because this is all still gravy. I want you to go back to August, and I want you to remember looking at the Bears' schedule and choosing, are they going to win or lose? And a lot of people had them at 10-7 or 9-8. Hopefully, we were hoping for this, and yet we were 11-4 going into the San Francisco game last night against another team that was also 11-4, playing for the top spot in the NFC. Nobody had this on their bingo cards. And so you cannot say that it's not gravy.
Yep.
This is all gravy, and it's all experience for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. It's a good experience.
Absolutely.
To go out and lose a shootout like that on the last play of the game, because now you know that you got to do something differently next time.
Exactly. There's room for improvement.
Yes. We have not even reached the ceiling with these two. Let them cook, everybody.
Yeah.
Let them cook.
And see what happens next season. They are both year one.
Yes.
So.
Yes, indeed. All right. Well, hope you all enjoyed the Sunday night game of the week. We got a Monday night matchup tonight. It is inconsequential pretty much. It is Rams and Falcons. The Rams cannot win the NFC West. Only the Seahawks or the 49ers can. So the Rams, I don't know if they can move up or down in that wild card slot or not.
Okay.
I haven't looked that closely lately. I just know it's the Rams and the Packers, and it's going to be either the Seahawks or the 49ers as the wild card teams.
Okay, so we have our work cut out.